Hello and welcome to Galactic Goddess Podcast. I'm your host, Radhaa Nilia. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Alanna Starr. Welcome.
Hello.
We decided to do an impromptu video to talk about the current energies because there is so much going on astrologically, energetically, and I think it's been quite a while since Alanna and I have shared anything, but she's very in tune with everything going on. So Alanna, do you want to just jump right in and talk about these energies?
Well, I think what the most important thing is that we're all feeling it so strongly right now, especially this Pisces season. This last week and still up until today has been really intense. And I believe we just left our Aquarius moon at 11:11 a.m.
Oh.
Yeah, that's funny. I was just looking at I saw that. I'm not a like full blown astrologist, but I'm really into following the patterns of the energy. And
Yeah.
yeah, we're in a time that's like really it's heavy. We have a Chiron in Aries. There's a lot of war energy going on. There's a lot of, I would say, spiritual attack right now,
Yeah.
like a spiritual attack, but also like a war in our consciousness.
Mhm.
There's so much stuff happening in the news, and the world kind of feels like it's falling apart. It has been falling apart for a while. We've been witnessing that, but it also feels like it's coming together in
Mhm.
such an odd way. And things are starting to. And my little one here.
No, he's
Yeah,
welcome. We
things are
love the
starting.
energy
Yeah, things are
child.
starting to reveal a lot. Things are unraveling and revealing.
You know
And
what? I just got this vision, Alanna. When I was a teenager, I didn't have I didn't have money. So what did I do? I used to go to the secondhand store and I'd buy like really funky, cool clothes, like it from the 60s or whatever. And then I would take them apart and then I would have my mom help me sew them back together. And that's kind of like what we're doing because we're taking things apart from the seams, but I think we're going to put them back together and they'd be really cute. And I mean, the patterns were amazing. So we can still we're sort of unraveling the old, and then I think we're going to be putting it back together in a new way, completely reconstructing it for these times. So
I
I
set
think
you
it's
down,
really
buddy. Okay.
appropriate, even though it is quite uncomfortable. I think for everybody, emotionally, mentally, physically, and even the fear financially of what's going on.
Right.
It,
We have the banks that are going through some stuff, and a lot of people are expecting a collapse in the banking system, and that's pretty scary. To think what's going to happen. Do you know anything about that?
I just know that the Silicon banks went down and there was quite a few. I think they're trying to cover it up and smooth it over so that people don't panic and pull all their money out of the banks. But I do feel in my heart, and when I did a New Year's kind of reading, I saw that there was going to be a changeover financially, and I don't know what that means. I'm not an expert, so
Yeah.
you know, don't quote me. Use your own intuition and your own research. But intuitively, with the cards, it said that there was going to be like a changeover. So I don't think all is lost, and I think that all this money is wrapped up with a cabal. So it's dark. I don't like the word dark anymore, but it's like evil money. Money's not evil, but it's being, utilized in a
It's
way.
circulated in an evil way. Yeah.
So I think that the structures have to change, and there's, whether we like it or not, there is some uncomfortable feelings about it because what if we lose everything? What are we going to do in between? And I think that's where we have to kind of tap into our cosmic trust, which is really hard. We in the Western world like to know the outcomes for everything. You know what I mean? And it's getting even more intensified with like chat GBT, where we can get analysis for anything and figure out what the outcomes are going to be. But this is one of those things where you can't do that. You're going to have to use more of your intuition because chat GBT isn't going to tell you, like how to handle these situations, because this is where we have to get into our mastery. And I mean, I say that as I stumble and fall, right? You know, like we're all sort of kind of, we like, I think it's really great to just be like, hey, this is hard, and we're sort of in a blender, you know, and we're all getting blended out, and a lot of the toxic stuff has to leave our life, whether that be relationships, or whether that be financially, whether that be the structures of the way things are, the way things, food is made,
I
all
guess
these.
we call that, we need to clean house pretty much, right?
House, yeah.
Spiritual cleaning, physical cleaning, just
Exactly.
purify.
Exactly. Have you been noticing at all that your dreams are getting more intensified, or that they stay with you lately? More.
So they've been so intense lately, like just wow, yeah. I've actually been having dreams of cartels interfering in things in my dreams. Yeah, like I was abducted in a dream recently. They released me, but I was terrifying. Like I was like on a bus going somewhere, and some girl in the bus was that they abducted. I don't know if it was cartels. I don't. That's just what it felt like.
Oh,
So
I would say just
a
share.
lot of stuff in the news. I've been seeing things. I think that what we see does affect us. The how they took the Americans and two of them were killed, and so maybe it's kind of like that energy seeped into my dreams. But I was abducted there, and so she was telling me about what they do with all the airports in my dream. It was really interesting. And then like last night I was flying. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of crazy dreams. So maybe that is the Piscean energy, right? I think we said we had Saturn in Pisces right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It feels like the shadowy stuff, every shadowy thing feels like it's surfacing. And that feels very much in our dreams too. It's almost like the hidden things are coming to light.
I'm stepping away, please talk.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share with you all that if you're having dreams that are maybe even traumatic, please, just take a deep breath and like realize that your subconscious is actually working for you right now. That because Saturn is in Pisces, it's really pushing all of the emotion. It's all the shadowy stuff has to come out and has to come forward. And it's so uncomfortable, you guys. I'm not going to lie about that. It feels like, like not this again, like not this. Like I thought I've already healed that wound. And lately the theme of like abandonment is coming up in my dreams, and the feeling of like my inner child being abandoned. And so I'm, as difficult as it is, I think it's a great time to reprocess stuff that we thought we already processed too, or go to a deeper level maybe. What do you think, Alanna?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's bringing us to a deeper level. But I have to say, I was a little distracted. My son was getting into something and I had to step away. So
No, it's okay. Yeah, we were
it was for the people.
dreams.
Yeah, about dreams. So I think that it's revealing something to us that we need to clear, or that we need to tap into, that we do have a multidimensional self, and so many different layers of us that's processing what's going on. And yeah, it feels like things are falling off, and our dream state definitely is like giving us signs and giving us messages. And I mean, we always don't know how to decipher them.
Yeah.
But they do shake us up, and they cause us to like think, wow, that's so intense, or that's so surreal or real, that it makes us really question our reality.
It does. It really does. And I like what you said, different parts of self, because I kind of think we are working with the different parts of ourself. Like you said, you're an expert in the multidimensionality of the humanness. And so there are so many aspects of self where I think we may not be in touch with, we may actually shun. And I feel like this is a time where we really need to integrate those parts that we don't like. For me, it's that primal rage. Like I always try to push that away. But I think as we integrate those parts, we become more whole, because they are valid, they are important, and parts of self don't go away just because we wish them to, want them to, or lock the doors and throw away the keys. They'll come pounding on the door. So I really think this is a supersonic time to get our houses in order inside, because when all the chips fall, and they will be falling, like I just see that, like the dominoes falling, that's part of the process. That doesn't mean we're done. It doesn't mean we should throw away our life. It doesn't mean that we should harm others, or, it just means, hey, we have to be so strong inside and be that pillar of light that we can be prepared for these coming events, because we are made for them. We did choose to come here and be here for this moment, because on the other side of that, I believe and I have an inner knowing that the future is brighter than we could ever imagine. It just feels a little hellish from time to time.
Like we're being projected on, so that we were living in fear, and that we're actually not. We have to be really strong, and so strong in our mind that we can still create the life we want when we're living in chaos. And actually, that's the biggest message I've been receiving lately is, and it's been so hard to be calm in the face of the storm when all these things are projected at you, to be able to like really maintain your peace. And because you can still create the vibration of a heaven on earth frequency, right now, and it's possible. And that's why they have people, there's like the whole thing about ascension, right, into the 5D, and it's still possible even though there's a lot of chaos around us and there's a war. And
Yes.
yeah, we have to maintain that, and once we do, we are rewarded in such a way, because things start unfolding for us, and we're like, wow, okay, we can. And it's almost like hard, because you're like, how can I find peace and happiness when the world is going to shit around me? And it's like you kind of feel guilty, because I'm like, wow, I'm feeling so good, but there's suffering out there, and is that right for me to feel good when people that I know are still suffering and I'm starting to feel good,
Because the thing is, we are a collective, so our vibrations all affect the whole. You know what the world actually needs more of? People who are happy, people who are in joy. And I'm not saying bypass, because part of happiness and joy is also facing the demons, right? Facing it within, like facing the darkness, facing all of that, so we can transmute it, because we're really trying to offload this heavy stuff so we can really lighten up. And I think every single human being, without question, is imprinted with this heavy darkness. And this is just part of almost the initiation of being here on Earth. We agreed to be in amnesia. We agreed to take on the heavy loads of our karma, of our lineages. We agreed to, each one of us, sort of take on these themes and really push through them, work through them, sort of break them down. Like for me, that was the breast implant illness. That was the feminine wound of not feeling good enough, having to do other things to make herself feel better. And so when we tackle those themes, and I'm sure you're a mother, so maybe it's a motherhood, each person has their theme. We're sort of dismantling those themes, working through them until they come apart, so that we can create something new. So we actually have to step into those dark places or into those scenarios, so we can actually, it's almost like we're re-engineering, on a very cellular level, but also on a collective level. So you have to understand, that's like, we are the engineers. We are engineering, and we're taking all of, like, we got bad coding and we're just trying to we're redoing it, undoing it, deleting it out, replacing it with new coding. It's an intensive full-time job, even when you have, like you have a child, and you're still doing it, and you're doing it for your son. It's beautiful. I really commend you for incredible work as a mother, because being a mother is, I think, one of the greatest jobs you ever, because
well, I mean, the world is literally suffering because they are refusing to connect with the mother.
Yes.
And the ones who do, actually the ones who are truly finding healing and peace in their life, because they realize that powerful truth, that she's here and like waiting. That's a whole other thing we've talked about many times.
Oh no, but bring it forward, honey. This is important.
So I wanted to piggyback off of what you just said, because you were saying that a lot of us feel that we are here to create, I would say, the new earth. We talked about the ones who believe that they're star seeds. And I actually just read an article that somebody was making fun of. I wanted to send it to you because it was really funny, about how they're making fun of the people who think that they're star seeds and that they come from somewhere else to save the planet, but they're not. They're just like a bunch of nobodies. And I think our hardest thing that we're actually going to deal with is just the people around us that don't believe that, in that magic, that some of us really feel that we can and will help the collective transition into this newer vibration, this newer template of earth, and rise above all this chaos and pain and suffering and the samsara, right, in this wheel of life that we're on. And we have to deal with battle a lot of people. I mean, not only do we have our own inner critic, like, are we worthy enough to carry this truth?
Yeah.
Believe that we are star seeds. That's just a word we give it because we can't really explain that feeling that we are cosmic and multidimensional, and that these children come here with the ability, that higher frequency that's closer to God, that's
Oh
closer.
yeah.
They're little, these kids are getting in trouble, but like we battle a lot with the people in our life and our own inner critic, that don't believe in us, right? That don't believe that we can do that. So
Exactly.
I think that's the biggest thing right now, is having to kind of like confront that and say, I am here to do this. I am worthy of this, and I am a spark of God. And even though I've not been perfect, I made mistakes, but that's the beauty of redemption. That's the beauty of what, even the Bible teaches us, that we can redeem ourselves and heal and yada yada yada. So
I think it's funny. I think it's really funny that people go out of their way. And aren't they supposed to be journalists? Like, is that really what you're going to talk about? I think it's so funny how people get angry and attack when you're trying to do something good. They always do. They're not here to do anything good. They're the NPCs, they're here to like throw bombs in your psyche. They're here to bring you down. People will laugh, they'll ridicule you. I mean, look what they did to Jesus. If they did that to Jesus, they're still doing that to people who, are good things. Like, of course they are. They can't comprehend it. It's actually, they're not programmed to understand. They're programmed for super low frequencies. There's a lot of people that are programmed really low, and they're meant to stay there. They're not actually meant to play. They're play the full game. They're here to keep.
How would you say that? How do you deal with that?
How
do you deal with the knowing that somebody's not supposed to be there?
I mean, I've been attacked so many times. I've had people say a lot of mean things, and okay, that's an interesting perspective. Like, I get it. You're not there. That's cool. I'm not better than you. We're just programmed differently. And that's okay, because guess what? When you're shining your light more, you do get attacked, and I have been, but I don't care. I mean, the thing is, when I'm like, okay, it is what it is. You feel free, like that kind of feeling. At first, it like felt, when I first started to get attacked when I came out with my books, it felt personal. It really hurt, because I was sharing my heart and soul, you know what I mean? And it just is like, oh. But then after a few vicious, malicious attacks, I actually realized that I'm reflecting something that's really triggering them, that they're not willing to look at, right? Because I am doing the work. We're doing the work. We're going within. We're self-reflecting. And a lot of people who don't want to self-reflect, don't even have the consciousness to do that. They get super triggered. And I realize part of my archetype is an activator. It's for the positive, but it activates negative too. When people have a lot of darkness, or I don't like to use the word darkness, and I don't like to use the word evil, but that heaviness inside that they're not dealing with, I will trigger people. So I think I've just had to come to terms with the fact that that's what happens. That is going to be what happens. This life is temporary. I'm here for, we're here for our purpose, and we are here to share and to love and to connect with like-minded people. but then we graduate and we go on. You know what I mean? We're eternals. So we don't just stay in one place forever. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're going to have to deal with their own shit. They're just using you as somebody to sort of, you know, dump their crap on. But that doesn't, all I have to do is say, I don't accept. So I had to work on my rejection wounds like so deeply, because as a child, I felt deeply rejected. It was such a core wound that it almost felt like I was going to die when somebody did that the first time and wrote like a scathing review. I was like, oh, you know. But then it gave me an opportunity to go deeper. Like, hey, where is that wound inside of me? Where is it hurting my inner child? So I kept doing it and doing the work and kept revisiting that inner child that felt so rejected, so unloved. And I kept bringing more love to her, and you know, and she's still working stuff out. We all are. But the thing is, we have foundations now. So even if people throw shit at our house, we just say no thanks and we wipe it off and throw it away. You know, we don't need to take it. I'm not going to take it in. I used to eat the poison because that's what I was trained to do as a child, was to take in the poison of others when they couldn't process it. And you know, as an empath, and you're a manifester too, manifestors, we take in emotions of others. We can't help it, right?
We're literally like, I mean, not only manifestors in the human design, so in the quantum human design term, it would be called the initiator.
Okay.
We initiate people, and that can piss people off. And depending on your profile type, you definitely can piss people off. Like I'm a 3/5, so we're literally like people that people project on.
Yes.
We are just like projected on all the time. And people don't always like the mirror. They don't like the mirror, and it's not fun. It's not always fun.
But then I think it's like, okay, once you get a few like little beatings, and then you're like, okay, I can actually just brush it off. You start to rise above it, and realizing that people are going to come at you with energetic punches, right? And I'm a super empath, as are you. We're like so empathic that you can feel it, you know. But I also put up really big energetic shields now, and I learned how to shield and use a pillar of light and all those things. It's like, okay, if that's what you want to do, that's a game you're gonna have to play with yourself. I'm not participating in it, you know. And you just realize this world has very dirty. Like the energy is very dirty. So a lot of people are coming from that. They don't want to take a bath. They don't want to clean themselves energetically.
Oh, then
So
they attack you when you're actually trying to do that work, or they're
yes.
talk so crappy about you, and then when you actually do lash back to them, it's like so easy for them to be like, oh, I thought you were the spiritual one. I thought you were the one. You're the perfect one. It's like, no, that's what you think about me.
Well, that's
Trying. It's not easy. You know, it's not easy to not react back to things.
Oh yeah, it's not easy. I mean, sometimes Kelly does come out, and I have a full disclaimer. The goddesses work through me, and Kelly is one of them. So you know, if you're getting dangerous and vicious, you know, like energetically, that energy. I have a fierce goddess that's a demon slayer inside too. So you know, I'm you know, of course, sometimes you're having a bad day and it gets under your skin, but then you know, it's okay. We are not perfect. I will never be perfect. Disclaimer, do not expect that from me. I don't think anyone is perfect. We have our different parts of self. And that is what we are working through as a collective. If someone's mean-minded and mean-spirited, and they go out of their way to try to poke holes in you and put swords in you, that's their problem. You know, they have a lot of inner work to do. And yeah, I've been an asshole at times too. Total responsibility. And sometimes it's appropriate to be an asshole. So I always give myself permission to be an asshole when needed, you know, like, I give myself permission to be a warrior as needed. You know, like I have all these archetypal backups. So why wouldn't I use them? You know what I mean? Sometimes the peaceful warrior is the one. Sometimes, you know, the Kali Ma is the one. So I mean, you know, don't come at me and then expect me to be like you know, perfect. Because if you're testing, you might also be tested yourself, you know. So I think it's fair game. we're in each moment, we're unique. We're in each moment, we are a brand new person. Right? So maybe yesterday I was calm and zen. Today I feel fire burning through me. So I don't think we have we're not one dimensional. We're multidimensional. And that's why we have to give ourselves permission to be who we are. Sometimes the raging goddess is appropriate. And I think as a feminine, we've been really taught that that's not okay. Like we can't stand up for ourselves. Like being told to shut up when actually you needed to create a boundary as a child, right? So when those boundaries are crossed, and most children's boundaries are crossed because adults don't understand that children, when they say no or they're having a tantrum, they're really trying to protect themselves.
Yeah.
When the adult comes and disarms them because they want to take control, you're taking away that person's personal power. And so as an adult, sometimes that comes out because you're like, no, because that power was taken away and now it's time to show up for that little child.
Manifestors have that super strong because the moment a manifestor is born in the human design world, the creator who made the human design, he said that basically when a manifestor is born, the parent automatically feels, oh no, this one's gonna be trouble, because manifestors are like, they self-initiate. They don't need to be told a lot of how to do things, and they do them, and then the people are like, oh my god, we gotta control them right away, because otherwise, we're the kind of kid that like goes outside and doesn't ask permission. We just know how to open the door and walk out. So I mean, we don't have the same amount of energy that a generator does, but we can do things. We're the only type that's meant to initiate and meant to move without asking. That's why we're supposed to inform when we do things.
And that's the thing, manifestors, like I never used to inform people. I didn't know how. I'm just used to doing things, getting it done, or like
people get so pissed.
People
like what?
And you're like, huh? I don't understand. But then I've learned, and then I feel a little bit awkward because sometimes I over explain things now because I'm trying to inform people, but then it feels a little bit awkward, but I'm still working on it because I realize it's better to over inform than it is to under inform.
Love you. Here.
Oh, hello, Leo.
You're gonna sit here. You gotta give them that weight. Yeah. So.
Hey.
Yeah, it's necessary to have these conversations and just kind of check back in with ourselves and see where we are. Like, how am I feeling? Where am I at in my process?
Yeah, it is so important. I just think we have to be so patient with ourselves because we can get annoyed with ourselves during these times. With Saturn and Pisces, it's kind of annoying, and it's there until 2026.
Oh, well, I didn't realize it was going to be there that long. We're in for a bumpy ride.
All of our, Pisces it can go very deep. It's the deepest depths, right, of the ocean, and it's also, so we're being invited to go to those shadowy, dark places that are scary. The caves where we put all of our stuff, and hoped it stayed there. It's all coming out. So, it's intense. It's intense. How would you
we need to connect with our compassion during this time, with our inner waters, and calm our fears, dissociation, disillusionment, and because Saturn is the symbol of stability and boundaries, right, and structure. And so if you have that in Pisces, I mean, the Pisces is the last zodiac. So usually someone that comes in with Pisces has embodied all the zodiacs already. And there's a lot of sweetness, but a lot of lessons to learn in that energy, right?
Yeah. I think it's going to be persistent. I can feel it coming every night. Like, okay, this is the theme you're going to be looking at tomorrow. And it's like, and I'm like, no, but I'll take it. I'll take it and then I'll process it because I'm like, listen, I want to work through this. It's part of our graduation. We have to get, we have to be willing to process it. I think it's a beautiful thing, and finding good people to work with is important. You know, you offer sessions as well, right?
Yes, I do. I do. Well, eventually you and I are going to get into it, but we have talked about where'd you go? You there? Okay. Yeah, we are not we, but I've been studying lots of stuff for a long time, you know, about astrology and human design and gene keys. And I'd like to say I'm not an extreme professional, but I'm an expert in all of the fields of different modalities that teach you how to know yourself, whether it's namology, numerology, um, destiny, your numbers. Basically, we have all these different hints that give us a sign of who we are. So yeah, I give different ways to get to know yourself. And so that's going to be probably our next video, talking about what I can offer. And I'll be doing like free Zoom sessions on how to just give the basics of that, because it is my gift. And I think that the only way for me to truly live my design and what I came here to do is to literally do that.
Yes.
So I'm looking for success, and I'm looking for happiness and peace, and that is the way to do it for me, because it brings
Yeah.
me the joy.
Your gifts, and
Yeah.
you know, of course, get compensated for them, but I mean, put them out into the world. You know,
Right.
it's important. And I've had like that was one of the themes, is I had like, I think it was Chiron and Pisces. Yeah. I had the wounded healer thing. So like, in order for me
Oh,
to
you
get,
have a Chiron and Pisces?
yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the wounded healer. So you know, so it's almost like when I gave to others in sessions, that was also a healing elixir for me. It's, you know, um, it's that energy of like this. So yeah, I think there's something so beautiful emerging for us all. And although it can feel like we're living in somewhat of a nightmare at times I'm like, I cannot believe this is the reality that's going on, but it's a reality that's
Yeah, the
emerging.
Chiron and Pisces, you guys have a good, really intuitive ability to read others, what
Yeah,
they're going through, and tell. And also when you're being lied to, things like that, you know, you can
yeah,
feel it.
it is so
But
intense.
Chiron is the wounded healer. For
Mhm,
everybody has a Chiron in the wounded healer. Yeah,
mhm.
it's those
Oh,
are
okay.
intense. It's a good
It
thing
is.
to know that one, because yeah, it can really help heal you.
It is, yeah.
Your
So it's sort of
Chiron's
like
very powerful.
the theme for my life was working through really, really big woundings, and knowing that I can, and having the tools and gathering the tools and remembering, and then showing others how to as well. So it's a huge theme, but sometimes I'm like, why did I choose this? But then
To
you realize,
heal.
yeah, because you can, and we're here to do it. We're here to do it. We didn't come here to really have a vacation. We kind of, I mean, although vacations are good and they're very healing, and we always do grid work, but this is really this is a lifetime where we have to jump in feet first, you know, and and keep showing up even when we don't feel like it. That's part of the
Yeah.
process. Here I am. And I think that's just part of the thing, is like just showing up, and showing up when it's good, when it's bad, when it's ugly. Because it's not going to just be like, it's not like the whole just love and light thing is actually very crippling, because, you know, we live in a world of severe duality. And actually we're here to dismantle a lot of the darkness. So what does that mean? You have to get a little dirty. You know, you got to get in and deal with it. It's not like you can't just love and light on like a magic carpet. You know, like, yes, we will be able to do that in the future, but that's not really why we're here. We're here, yes, to spread the love and light, and also to get into the trenches. And that's why I say, like, don't expect me to be perfect. Sometimes, like, we are all human. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just going to be like, all the time, because I don't live on top of a Tibetan mountain.
The love and light are just tools, right? That wherever you have hurt, you love a little more.
Yeah,
Wherever you have darkness, you shed some light in that area in the
right.
shadows. These are just
Absolutely.
tools. Yeah.
I guess I was referring to more of the spiritual bypassing, where
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
a lot of the communities are like, if you talk about anything that has like evil aspects, which there is, evil exists here, and anyone that denies it is sort of bypasser, then you're coming into a serious problem, because what you hide and what you bypass becomes a monster, and it will come out of the shadows. And that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. We're seeing the monstrous effects of the cover-ups, right? So by you're also enabling the cover-ups. We're not here to protect evil. We're here to expose it, to talk about it. You know what I mean? And even to expose it, like not evil, but like any shadows inside of ourselves. You know, it goes both ways. So we all have it. Like anybody that doesn't have duality inside, you wouldn't even be on this earth plane. In fact, some people actually have to take on the karma of duality. Say they came from a higher dimension, they actually take on like a backpack, a fake amount of karma, or they take on a heavier load that they didn't have before. Why? That is the entry point to coming here.
Density. Yeah. It's a density level. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Otherwise, they'd float away to another dimension.
Yes. You've seen that before.
I've done that a few times, but oh my goodness. Well, it's so wonderful to connect with you again, Alanna. And you guys, we're going to be doing a few, series of stuff. So tune in, because Alanna's going to be sharing some of her incredible gifts in some upcoming seminars, which she's going to be offering to everybody. And it's going to be so much fun to learn and to join and to tune in. And I believe she's doing those complimentary. So if you want to learn more about yourself, just check in here within the next week or so, because we will be offering that information. And it's a fun ride to go on. So join us. And until next time, much love and blessings. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.